What up y'all, it's TTAR, and today we're going to be talking about hints for a 2024 Pokemon game. Remember, this is all just speculation, but this is something I was talking about a couple videos ago, which was the idea that it's not impossible that there is a Pokemon game this year. I was bringing up the idea of how they did Auras and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, where the game was announced in May instead of January or February like the other games. And so maybe they could do something like that for this, where in May, which is in about a month or 2 months, they would announce another Pokemon Presents, which would actually reveal a Pokemon game later this year. And to me, listen, first off, this video is copium, but the reason I talk about this idea is because Pokemon has something insane set up, where it's like Apple. People just come and buy their latest games every year. The instant thing that comes to my mind is there's no shot Pokemon would want to break that pattern. By unintentionally giving someone a year, it gives them time to rethink because they've broken the pattern, and then they might not buy the next Pokemon games. Stuff can be as simple as that. And when Legends Arceus sells 15 million, BDSP sells 15 million, the idea of making a blank year when any Pokemon game would sell like at least 10 million, which they wouldn't want. They would want 50 million or higher because they want to show stuff is growing. It's insane. At the least, right? Let's say there's no main series game. What they should have done is not made it a whole blank year and made some spin-off games come out. Red and Blue DX was such a success, and they didn't follow it up with the obvious thing to make next, which is an Explorers of Sky remake, which is arguably one of the best Mystery Dungeon games. Then there's other spin-off games they could have incorporated into this year so it doesn't feel fully like a blank year, but to completely distance themselves and make no Pokemon game this year is insane to me. And of course I could be wrong about this, but I'm always trying to pry into their way of thinking. To be as fair as possible, one reason they could have a blank year is they just ran out of ammo. You see, to make Pokemon games, they're not just taking a year to make each Pokemon game, right? It's not like Legends Arceus came out in 2022 January, right? And it just took them 9 months to make Scarlet and Violet. Nah, they take a lot of years for each game. So since each game would be in development alongside each other, just in a line, they could have reached a point where all of their projects led up to Scarlet and Violet. And so we have a blank year because they ran out of ammunition. And now they're working on a new set of games, of which Legends EA is just the first. So they'd be working on multiple games in a sense alongside each other so that they don't have to take a blank year again. That's the only other way I can see it. But we're going to talk about the idea for a 2024 game this year. And I want to link this to... See, you're laughing already. I've been harsh on Ku, both before his recent endeavors and back then. Yeah, it's Riddler Ku. So something Ku tweeted recently kind of goes in line with what I was talking about a couple videos ago, and I'm gonna show it to you, right? It's actually those 3 tweets. So yeah, I talked about how Ku has to be wrong with what he's talking about here, but I'm gonna show you the tweets again. So someone asked Ku, hey, will blah 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 be in Legends EA? And he says, Legends EA basically got nothing done by far. Not so far, by far. So there's getting nothing done, and then getting nothing done by a long shot. It's like they've got freaking ass. Masuda, you go into the studio, he just has a giant ass photo hung up. Welcome to the Legends EA office. Second tweet, if they did have stuff done, where is the game footage? It's too early to discuss this game. Afraid that you would face the whole area of Boundless Desert this year. So we put those 3 tweets together last time, and the conclusion I actually came to is that Ku has to be wrong. Here are my thoughts here, right? Right now, it's March 26th, okay? That's 3/2024. If Legends EA is coming out in 2025, it's not going to be January probably, it's going to be winter. So let's say November of 2025. So from 3/2024 to 11/2025 is freaking 20 months. It's not even 2 years. And if the game comes out on November 2025, it's not gonna be done November 2025. It's gonna be done months in advance. So shave off 2 months, they have 18 months to go from Masuda's giant ass hung up to having a whole new Legends game made. That's why I said Ku has to be wrong. That's what I said in that video. Even BDSP must have taken more than 2 years to make. So this makes no sense. But let's put our eggs in both baskets. We have 2 options here, right? Ku's either right or Ku's wrong. So I've already talked about Ku being wrong here. Let's talk about Ku being right. Okay, well, let's not say right because this is just straight up wrong. But let's see it from the lens of Ku thinking he's right by tweeting this stuff, right? And focus on the third tweet where he says, I'm afraid y'all get in a desert this year for Legends EA. There's a different lens you can look at that. What if the reason they don't have gameplay, nothing to show, no information this year, is because it's not the focus this year? Because something else later in the year is gonna be the focus. Like May would come around and we have a Game Freak B team that's been working on like a Johto game / Unova game, but less likely. And that would come out in November of this year. And they wanted to space it from the Legends EA announcement. It's like making Pokemon fans long for some kind of Pokemon content. Then May rolls around and they do deliver something. And so people flock to it while they also hold Legends EA to a high pedestal. It's an interesting idea that is not impossible in the slightest. And then we got a fourth tweet here too. Remember when Serby tweeted 2024 is a year off, then sweet, and Ku puts the thinking face. What do you know, Ku? Aside from the things you don't. 2024 is the 25th anniversary of Johto. Not that they have to take advantage of every anniversary, but it's what I said at the beginning, right? There's no shot Pokemon wants fans getting comfortable with the whole year away from Pokemon. This is zombie content, man. You gotta keep getting money out of the suckers. So think about that thinking face here. Then think about, in the midst of Ku not telling us anything about Kalos, what he did tell us about, right? The two tweets he did make was his 2024 map predictions, where Johto is one of them. And then his tweet, is it Johto or Unova? It's like the information Ku knew was of a 2024 Pokemon game. Like he didn't actually know anything concerning this Legends EA. And so even he was taken aback when Legends EA was announced. He's like, where's the freaking Johto game I was told about? I mean, look at that tweet. 2024 map predictions. He put 4 regions. Did he intentionally set himself up to say this is a troll after? Because that's a horrible setup, bro. And here's another horrible setup. You want to see something? So remember that 8 that he tweeted? This is the big announcement, guys. Figure it out. Okay, so as he highlighted these, the 2 big numbers you can make was 2 and 5. Along with like everything else, right? 3, 6, 5, 8. But everyone was thinking 2 or 5, right? Here's what Ku says is the answer. If we say A and Z overlap, do you believe? So you see, first off, that's not what he tweeted in that Ku. But you see, his riddles have all fallen apart. Like, it's almost like Ku's been given the image of he knows nothing about the games, but what if it's the fact that he didn't know about Legends EA? And that's what's missing. That all his riddles were pointing to a correct Pokemon game. Not to give him more credit than he deserves, because that's freaking hilarious here. Oh, it's A and Z, guys. Maybe he meant it to be like a 2 for Johto remix that he was told about. That's my theory. Ku did not know about Legends EA, and his riddles was about something else. And this is why Ku, he always goes to his old riddles and tags them and updates them with the answers, revealing what his intention with that was. Like, he revealed his Hydrapple Troll, he revealed all of his Scarlet and Violet Indigo Disc riddles. Like, you know, all this stuff. Who would you save? He updated with the answer and shown everyone under the influence. This one, okay, time to bed. It's self-item or grandma's joke. It turned out to be Peachron itself. And he did this for every little thing. Even this one, where this is the, I think the sword that's inside the 8-headed serpent. He updated with the answer. There's Yamato Norochi or whatever. So he's updated everything he's tweeted that was a riddle. But he didn't update those, you know, all the Johto and Unova propaganda. He didn't update and say, it was a troll, guys. It's Kalos. Let it be known I try to be fair. It sounds like he didn't update them because they can't be updated yet. That once these new games are announced in May, that he gonna update them. And then they're gonna be like, oh, damn, cool, you really did know. Listen, I don't know if they'll say that. He gonna have to admit he knew nothing about Legends EA first, then the internet will like him again. Anyhow, we come to the final thing that I want to show you, right? Which is, someone asks Ku, when will the riddles for this year's games start, Big Ku? So this is back in January 15th, so this is around the time the Peachron event came out, a month and a half before the Pokemon Presents. It's been 2 months since that. And Ku responds saying it's too early now. And you know what? After the announcement due in February, the official will be silent till the second half of the year. And that's the span where we shall begin to play the riddle games. Now listen, cool. Let's plug this into Legends EA. So the announcement due in February is Legends EA. After it's announced, the official Pokemon marketing team gonna be silent until the second half of the year. And that's when we'll play the riddle games. So it can make sense that we're getting Legends EA riddles. But the second half of the year lines up with the date I was saying, which is May of 2024. Now remember, this is fully tinfoil hat, alright? We're going against the current here to talk about stuff like this. Imagine they announce something in May, coming out in November, and that's when the second half of the year begins. And so what Cool's riddles would be is about that hypothetical Johto game. And then we would be able to look at all of his old weird riddles, map predictions and all, and realize they were all pointing to the Johto game. And that's what's going on. Because look how happy and confident he is here, right? He never spoke with such confidence ever since Legends EA dropped. We shall play riddle games. And that's my theory for this video. The copium that I'm providing to you all, that maybe there is a Pokemon game this year. Not that Pokemon shouldn't take a year off, because it'll make Legends EA that much more greater. It's just me trying to predict Pokemon, and that they don't want to take a year off. Because here's the last thing I want to end this off with. If this year was a blank year, they might as well just made a simple Scarlet and Violet 3rd DLC. Anything to fill in the zombie profits. But they didn't even do that. They made it a legit blank year, which makes it sound like it only seems like a blank year because there's a whole game coming out. Anyhow, y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.